The 118 is somehow turned into the Scooby-Doo gang just to uncover the horrifying truth that happened inside a basement of a burnt-down apartment complex. And yes, this happened all in Season 9, Episode 16, Where There's Smoke. So, let's grab a glass, let's sit back, and let's rewind this episode together. So, for the rundown of this episode, I basically said it all at the beginning of this video, which is what happened there. So, basically, the 118 gets called to all these little, false alarms at this one apartment complex where there's smoke continuously coming out of this apartment, and they're trying to figure out where it all started from. Right? And they can't figure out what is going on. Nothing's on fire. Nothing seems to be showing on their meters or anything like that. So they're very, very confused. But they keep getting called out because the smoke alarms keep going off in this apartment complex. And the building manager is kind of being a little bit shady about it all and all this stuff. So it gets to this point where it's kind of giving Jinxed vibes where they're getting sent out to call. But instead of it being all these random ass calls because they said the Q word, it's the same apartment complex that they are being brought to. Then all of a sudden, when the boy who cried wolf finally sees the wolf, and by wolf, I mean fire, the 118 is called out to it again. The apartment complex actually goes up into flames, and they have to go in and save everybody, right? Well, let's just say a lot of those, tenants are not happy about it, and they start attacking the 118. All of this starts to ensue. They see the building manager trying to go back into the fire, and Chimney's like, everybody stay into the engine. I'm gonna go get this guy because I don't know what the fuck he's doing running back into this building, which is leaving the audience kind of confused because we're also getting this chunks by chunks, so we're not really knowing what's going on because they'll tell you what else is going on while we're getting this chunk by chunk. The apartment manager dude starts climbing up to the top of the roof just for Chimney to follow, and somehow he gets burnt to a crisp and dies. Well, they don't think he dies right away, but he does die. Kind of like he deserted though, and you figure that out later. Now, why did I say it's going chunk by chunk? Well, it's kind of also giving the vibes of Season 2, Episode 15's Ocean's 911, in which they, the guy who was trying to steal money from this one bank, set up this whole thing, basically framing the 118, and, these detectives are not getting off their fucking asses about the 118 doing it, and, it was a really, really funny episode, but it was kind of giving that same vibes, but in a more serious sense, because instead of it being detectives knowing that, ooh, the 118 did it, but Athena Grant's like, bitch, shut the fuck up. You know it ain't them. It goes into this whole thing about, the actual, it's not the fire chief, because the fire chief is Chief Simpson, so I don't know who the fuck this board is of people. But they basically start questioning the 118 on this one specific call, being like, well, why didn't you do this? Why did you not do that? I heard this. And then, I heard Chimney fucking punched a dude. And Chimney's like, huh? I did not punch that man. I didn't know, sort of thing. But we'll get into that man who supposedly accused Chimney of doing that, which we'll get into later, like I said. But we're getting all of this, and it's kind of leading to the questioning of Chimney's abilities to being captain of the 118, because, Eddie jumped off a bridge, Hen covered up an illness, Buck substance abuse, all this sorts of stuff are all kind of just tumbling down all one by one, right? So it's kind of leading to Chimney's questioning of him being captain, and he's not allowed to be captain, and the 118 can't be on calls or whatever. I don't know. They're actually not working that much in this episode, which that's how it leads to them banding together to become the Scooby-Doo gang, like I said before, because they're going to try to figure out why this building went up into flames, but they didn't know why the calls were going on in the first place. So they were trying to figure this all out. They kind of work with the dispatch to figure out from past calls, because there were so many calls happening to dispatch. The 118 finally figures out, damn, you guys get some really annoying calls. And Maddie's like, no fucking shit, Sherlock. People use 911 like it's their own personal grievance hotline. So then Lisa and all that kind of funny jazz. And then it also gets into them looking at the building plans, because, that's how May gets into it, because May brings in the building plans. I was trying to figure out how May got there again. It's been a while since I watched the episode. I'm actually recording this on Tuesday, the 7th. So it's been a bit since I watched the episode. Life has been hectic. So taking a drink to that one. But anyway, May gets into this, helping them out with everything. They get the building plans they're trying to figure out, and then they realize that there's one ventilation column that's kind of causing this whole issue. So then they kind of start digging deep into that to figure out what's going on there, and that leads them to go back to the building. And when they go back into the building, they go down to the basement and they realize, it's actually Buck says, the improperly stored paint cans, because of course the fire marshal Buck has to get into this, and he's just like, well, that's not right. And then they look, there's kind of markings on the ground for there to be a perfect pull in the basement, what's the thing? A shelf. That's the word. So they pull the shelf out and then they go in. They're like, holy fucking shit. And this is when everything takes that 180 turn into the seriousness, which is human trafficking and just the struggles of immigration in general. We get into this backstory of these immigrants who are trying to cross the Mexican border into America, thinking that they're about to start a new life without having to go through the legal process system right away because of how just impossible it's starting to get into America to become a real citizen, which just leads them to basically rot away in this one room. But they don't realize like that was happening right away until it was too late. And then they start becoming desperate because this little boy is sick and they just want to make sure that he gets help. So they try their best, and this one guy keeps like starting to set little pieces of clothing on fire to cause these smoke signals, which leads to the 118 to keep showing up to the apartment building until one day all those little fragments of ash flying up causes the actual apartment complex to be set on fire, which then the man tries running in to save the people, but he's too late and he dies. I'm talking about that building manager. Fuck him for just everything that he caused with those people being stuck down there. But the 118 was able to find them finally by just being their stubborn selves to try to help out each other, that they actually start to help out a bunch more people than they realized that they were going to help. Chimney comes to the scene, and one thing I love about this whole storyline too is that it is Latinos, Latinas, the Latin community who is the ones who are being struggled, who are the ones that were, because it's talking about immigration in general, especially from the Mexican border. And the thing that I really loved is that they really showed Eddie being connected to the storyline, not just because he's looking at a kid who's around, a little bit younger, but around Christopher's age, and he's so distraught to see this kid in peril, but it also leads him to feeling that way because these are people just like him that he's seeing going through these situations of just trying to live their life, trying to live their best lives. And that is why he feels this connection to them, and you can truly see that through his emotions, through Ryan Guzman's acting in this whole episode, which I truly do appreciate because it was just really well done, both on Ryan's part, both of the director's part by directing that whole scene. It was just beautifully well done, and I'm really, really appreciative towards that because it also leads into what happens then later when they get to the hospital. Well, Chimney comes up to, he's like, what happened? And they kind of explain what happened, but they get to the hospital and like Eddie's checking in on the kid and the kid's parents and all that kind of stuff, and then they realize, because guess who decides to walk into the fucking hospital? That's motherfucking right, that goddamn crooked detective from episode 15, Pick Your Poison. He comes in and he's just like, well, this sucks for them. They're gonna have to go back to Mexico. And Eddie's like, you motherfucker. Why don't you spare them some hope? Because if you're gonna catch the people who did this, maybe you should talk to the people who actually saw their faces and put them through all this fucking torture. And the guy's just like, you know what? That's a great idea. But he's lying, because then immediately he goes over and he calls somebody. He's like, Houston, we have a problem. And that's how the episode ends. So we know that this episode's basically setting up for what's going to happen in the next two episodes, but we're on hiatus until April 30th, so we got some time to just think and brew on this whole situation. So let's get to the pros and cons of this episode, in my opinion, because everything that I'm going to be saying here is going to be opinions based. So if you don't like it, well, say in the comments what you don't like about my own opinions, but I'm going to say my own opinions because this is my show, so deal with it. Pros. I said this kind of before, but I love how this episode was kind of giving that season 2, episode 15, Ocean's 911. It just was like a little bit more serious, but not just that, like from it feeling like that. It was more of like that episode happened in season 2. We are in season 9. So we have a completely different dynamic within the 118. Well, Bobby's not captain anymore. So now we have Chimney as captain, but Chimney's not there because they're trying to help out Chimney. So now we also have Ravi and Harry into the mix with the 118, seeing how everybody's working together. And not only, but Athena's not really pulled into this. We have May instead who's getting pulled into this. We have Dispatch being pulled into this. So we're starting to see different dynamics within these groups of people that we've known for so long, and these people we have known for so long, but they were kids at the time, and now they're old enough, and we have new people coming in and helping out. So it's just really fun to see this new dynamic working together to help one other person within the 118 overall family. So that's what I kind of liked about that whole thing, is just like, it's just adding in this new dynamic that we haven't seen before with Robbie, with Harry, with May, bringing in Dispatch, with Josh, and just everybody else. I just kind of like that. I just kind of like seeing this like new dynamic being worked out right in front of me. It's just kind of fun. It is. Another thing that I really liked about this episode, that even though we got to see this new dynamic, I really love when shows in general start hitting on topics that are very relevant in real society and what's happening in our world right now, which is why I really did enjoy the kind of like mood switch into the human trafficking storyline along with like the immigration storyline, because that is prevalent right now in America. It's the same thing of what happened in the pit recently with Jesse being detained, but also talking about the detainee and like the ICE officers and how they go first with brute force and just fear to like the fear mongering to get what they want, and just showing what people who are trying to immigrate into America are dealing with right now, especially those coming through the Mexican border, is just it's a story that needs to be said, and I'm happy they took it in the serious route. I'm happy they didn't try to like sugarcoat it. I'm happy they didn't try to like make it all funny or comical. I like how the mood switched immediately when we figured out what the fuck was going on, because I fear like when we're gonna be talking about a storyline like this, they have to do it in a serious note. That's why I'm not even joking about it, because it's something that needs to be said. It's something that needs to be portrayed in media and entertainment, so that people who are watching this, even though they're trying to have a good time, they're at least brought to it, because some people like to ignore the situations that are going on in our current like societal climate, when we shouldn't be ignoring it because people are actually going through it. So that's why I really, really enjoy that they hit on this very, very deep and just prominent and ongoing situation that's happening, especially in America. Now, to switch back to a lighter note, the last thing I'm going to say about the pro is that I kind of already said before with like everybody helping out and how it kind of felt like with these new dynamics. It's the idea of them all helping out Chimney. Like, it kind of reminds me of back in the day, like, when they'd be like, we need to get Bobby back here. We need to get Bobby to do this. We need Bobby. Like, they're literally trying to help out their captain, but Bobby isn't the captain anymore. It's Chimney. So it's very, very interesting to see this like complete switch now that like Chimney is their captain. He is Cap. He's the one that they're looking up to. He's the one that is trying to keep the 118 together. He is supposed to be the heart of the 118 right now. And it's really, really fun to see like old and new working together to help out Chimney as a whole when he feels like he's done everything wrong and that he isn't down in the dumps. It reminds me of when like Bobby got suspended from work when they found out about his past in Minnesota back in season 2. Same thing would happen when he decided to retire, got injured, and then they kind of like kicked him off, and then Gerard came in. It was giving me all those same vibes, which I just truly, truly appreciated, because it kind of just reminded me of like the past, but now we don't have Bobby, we have Chimney instead. So it's very, very interesting to see those new dynamics being at play. Oh, and like I said before, the Scooby-Doo gang of it all. Like literally, Buck was dressed up like goddamn fucking Shaggy. He had the green shirt and the brown pants. Like you can't be telling me that that's not Shaggy right there. Who's Scooby? Probably Eddie, because Eddie loved his Scooby-Doo treats. What is it? What are those Scooby snacks? But his Scooby snacks are Buck's Bakeries, because, you know, he wants that goddamn motherfucking cookie so much. Yes, I'm going to talk to my buddy and any chance I got. What do you fucking... I am who I am, and I ain't gonna change that, so deal with it. Now, I only really have 2 big cons, and they're pretty straightforward cons. First con, Sam, what the fuck you doing, bro? You didn't actually see Chimney punch anybody. You just heard somebody else say it, bitch. It's like the same thing of like if somebody said you need to jump off a bridge to live, are you actually gonna jump off the bridge? You're not fucking Eddie Diaz. Don't do that shit. Like, what the fuck? And then like how Chimney, like I did like how Chimney did forgive him right away, because it's like that's not a grudge you should hold on to as a captain. You should understand people's mistakes, but like, damn, dude, you're a fucking firefighter. Shit's gonna happen, and you're just gonna let it happen because of peer pressure, because you want to be a people pleaser. You can't be a people pleaser as a firefighter. You gotta make the hard decisions, bro. And I already know that bitch is coming back. One, because of BTS, because they did see the 144 or 143, wherever he's fucking going to now. The station being at whatever calls at that bridge that we've already seen from like promos, which we'll talk about later. But he's supposedly gonna be there too. So this is not the last we're seeing of Sam, and I'm kind of scared about that. The last con is those ungrateful citizens who got their lives fucking saved from the apartment building. You're telling me your lizards are saved, your baby is saved, you are saved, you are alive. You may lose your possessions, but you're not fucking burning to a crisp like a goddamn juicy piece of bacon. And then you're gonna attack firefighters? Bruh. They saved your life, and you're gonna attack them? Like, I understand having rage, and I probably would have rage too if I lost a lot of my prized possessions, because I'm a person who likes to collect things. Like, goddamn, I don't know if you can see, I got these plushies back there. Yes, one of them is a fucking plush dick, but that still has meaning to it. I would be sad if I lost those things. I would be sad if I lost my fucking ghost files from Watch Your Entertainment, aka Ryan Bergara and Shay Madej from BuzzFeed Unsolved, and they've got a fucking sign right there. I would be sad if I lost that fucking poster. But my life would be saved, and I wouldn't be dead. I would be happy about that. So, like, goddamn, guys, Be grateful, for fuck's sakes. I really don't have any other cons. I really just like this episode because there's a lot of like directorial decisions that I really liked about this episode, along with a lot of the like certain like cinematography and like shots that they did. Like one of my favorites is the reflective of the wavelength of the call at the dispatch with Eddie's face in it. That was one that I truly loved. Like there were so many good shots, there were so many good moments, there was such a good twist while also showing all this stuff. It was an absolutely phenomenal episode in my opinion. Not like holy shit it blew me out of the park, kind of like 913 did. There is that. So when we get into it now, it's time for the rating, and you know what that means. We need a drum roll, and with that drum roll, let's start it here. The rating that I'm gonna give 916 Where There's Smoke is a 7.5 out of 10. It's a little bit higher. Yes, it's a little bit higher than episode 15, but it's not too high because I still think there are better episodes this season, but it was a pretty dang good episode, and I really liked everything that was going on in it. But what I'm really excited for is the goddamn promo. I didn't even talk about the promo from last week when I was talking about this rewind the episode. No. This one is keeping me on the edge of my seat, and good thing it is because we're on a 3-week hiatus. Here's what I'm gonna say. I've already been talking about it on my TikTok and Instagram, but I think the 3 things that I got from that small little promo is that 1, I think Eddie's gonna be the next victim, at least the 118 as a whole, but I think Eddie could be the main victim in some way, shape, or form, mainly because he talked back to that crooked cop. And as Tim Minear said in an interview, whatever is happening in these last few episodes is going to carry us in, like this new storyline that's starting is going to carry us into season 10, which is why I think this crooked cop may be onto the 118, but especially wanting to pick on Eddie because Eddie had that deeper connection with whatever was going on with the human trafficking storyline. So that is why, because Eddie was the one to bite back. They also talked about Eddie's anger issues a lot this season, so I feel like that is setting us up for something, and that is why. But also, do I really want an Eddie NDE all the time? Yes. We're fucking, like, I guess he did get in a car accident, but it was mainly focused on Buck. So I think we're overdue for something focusing on Eddie where Eddie's in danger and in peril. I'm just saying. Do I also just love the Eddie main storylines? Yes. So am I a little bit impartial to that? Yes. Because he's one of my favorite characters? Yes. Shush, okay. Opinions here. My opinion. So shut the fuck up. Say what do you want to say in the comments. Also, like I said, the crooked detective, we knew that. We should have known from 915 that he was going to come back because he is a pretty big actor. He's in a lot of good things. He's not just like somebody who's just coming in out of nowhere. Like he is somebody who's supposed to have more than just one episode kind of role kind of thing. So I should have seen him coming back, and I think he's just going to keep on coming back. I don't know what his main role is going to be, but he's definitely a crooked detective, and that is what's going to carry on into these next episodes, and whatever he does is definitely going to hinder the 118 as a group. If he goes after one person, if he's going after everybody, I don't know yet, but I definitely think he's going to be fucking with them, and I'm so excited for it. But yeah, there's a lot of like just what the fuck moments, and then you got the fucking titles. 917 being called I Got You Babe, and then Heart and Flowers. I truly do not know what's going on. I made some theories already on my TikTok. You can always go follow me on TikTok, or even if you don't have TikTok, I'm also on Instagram, usually posting the exact same videos I made on TikTok over onto my Instagram. But if you don't want to go to those, I don't feel like saying my theories here, so that sucks for you. But that's really all I have for you guys today. I gave you guys my rating as a 7.5 out of 10 for this episode. I think it was a pretty good episode, but I'm very excited to see how this season ends and how we're gonna get carried into season 10. What did you guys think? I kept telling you guys to put your own opinions in the comments, and now I'm telling you for sure. What did you guys think of this episode? Did you like it? Did you hate it? Did the Scooby-Doo gang do what they needed to do? I don't even know what I'm talking about anymore. It is almost midnight. I am tired. And if you want to see more videos like this, make sure to hit that subscribe button and also hit that little bell icon so you get notified whenever I do post videos, because I'm still getting used to making YouTube videos. I'm still getting used to when I want to post. So I don't want you guys to miss out on any of my content, especially if you are enjoying these kind of videos. So make sure to hit that bell icon. And really, I have nothing else to say before I leave. No, don't click off yet. Come back here. I have a Patreon. That's where I react to all the episodes. No editing. Make sure you go subscribe to my Patreon too. And I'm also going to start a Discord over there too. So if you want to talk to other people about 911 and talk about things, all that kind of stuff, make sure you go subscribe because we're going to get that started up soon. So go to that. Then you guys can leave the video. Okay, now I'm done. Bye-bye. And before you click away, make sure you click on this next video that YouTube thinks that you would really like from me.